Now, the former National Resources Minister and the National Senator for Queensland, Matt Canavan, joins me from Muswellbrook in the Hunter Valley. Good to talk to you, Matt. Just tell us first up about those poll results. Not a big lift in the primary there in fact, sliding backwards in the primary for the government. Do you think you could convince people who are parking their votes with all sorts of independents and minor parties to come back to the Nats and the Libs?
Look, I don't know, Chris. All I know is that I think the best form of government for this country would be a Liberal national one. I don't think a parliament full of independents would be a good outcome for our nation, especially at these uncertain times with war in Europe and risks of conflict emerging in our region. I know what we're doing is making sure we defend great industries like the coal industry. I'm here in Muswellbrook defending the jobs of that industry here. We're building dams in North Queensland to get our economy going, and we've just got to get out there and run on our record and remind people of what our plans are for the future. What people do is up to them. That's a great thing about democracy, Chris, and I'm not going to predict it, especially given recent results.
Yeah, everybody's entitled to their vote and anybody's allowed to get up there and ask for votes, and I support that. But do we have a bit of a fundamental problem with our democracy? Because the central aim of the election is to elect a government. And we have people putting themselves forward who won't say what sort of a government they want to support. Now, if you're from the Labor Party or from the Greens or from the Nats or the Liberal Party, that's the number one thing. Forget about all the policies underneath. People say you are standing to support a government of a particular stripe. These people are ducking that question.
Well, Chris, I don't think there's a problem with democracy here, but I think there's a problem with some of the people standing to represent their democracy in their nation's parliament. I agree with you completely that if you're standing for your nation's parliament, you should be upfront with people about the decisions you make. Just like the rest of the country, those independent or so-called independent candidates running for office can see the alternative policies of the Liberal and Nationals or the Labor Party. Of course, they probably don't agree with all of those policies. That's probably why they're standing. That's fine. But they surely could be able to be upfront and say which one they're inclined to support or who they're likely to support so that their voters, their constituents know what they're going to get. We've seen this movie before, Chris, with the country independents there about a decade ago, where their electorates, Tony Windsor and Rob Oakeshott's electorates, were clearly in favour of a Conservative government. Yet after the election, they turned around and gave power to a radically left-wing Gillard government. And that just demonstrates why there's a risk in voting for anyone who's marketing themselves as independent. It's just like Forest Gump. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get.